Alright, looks like we are off. And some love in the sanctuary, and that's a bottle with a bee in it at Link's house.
Pretty interesting start there.
So we got a couple of runners doing the Uncle route. P-Train looks to be headed straight to Kakariko, and that could hurt him a little bit since he won't have that bottle from Link's house.
Yeah, that is true, because it is a golden bee. He can sell that for 100. And we did get a map check with Tower Hera being green pendant.
Yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, you can sell those golden bees to the bottle vendor, and more importantly, you'll be able to check Sick Kid. Alright. Looks like just a single rupee on the Lumberjack ledge, so Ega not required for that. And I think that was the Moon Pearl on the race game.
Yeah, it looks like Zelga's going to make the mad dash for that.
Yeah, that's sort of required. And just 20 rupees in the forest. P-Train's gonna pick that up, you might as well.
Yeah, it's early. You might as well pick up 20 rupees while you're here. It's no reason to pick them up right out of the gate if you just don't have any rupees to pick up.
It looks like we got Matt actually gonna go straight down to the South Shore, put off Kakariko for a little bit.
That was picked up by P-Train.
Oh, a lamp. That's always nice to see early. No pun intended.
Yeah, 20 with the ability to have access to the dark rooms right out of the gate, as well as actually when they get those gloves, they have access to Death Mountain right out of the gate, which is logical.
Matt finding a few extra bombs there. I was thinking he might consider going to Mini Moldorm Cave, but that's always risky when you only have bombs as your weapon. He's going to go to Agina instead. But we see we're getting that Sick Kid check. Just a piece of part, so P-Train won't be missing much there. He will find the hook shot and 300 rupees in Blindside.
Always a really nice pickup when you get that. When you get those gloves, it has great. Well, it has we'll have access to entirety of Death Mountain in the Light Worlds.
And Zulgadisson going to be farming bombs out of the Bomble Hut, and Matt finding the flippers at Agina.
Ooh, that's a nice pickup for Matt.
Absolutely. That is a spot that could troll the other runners. So those early Agina checks, more often than not, they end up being a waste of time. But when they do pay off, they can be a huge advantage. And this might just be a big advantage for Matt early on as P-Train finds our first glove in the well.
So with that brings the entirety of Death Mountain into Logic. Still no access to the Dark Death Mountain just yet, but eventually we'll be able to find that.
Matt can continue on with the South Shore here, using that Golden Bee to take out the Moldorms.
And hammer on the bottle vendor.
That's very nice. So and there's another glove in Mini Moldorm Cave, and a sword, and another sword. Wow.
Oh man.
Alright, this is Light World is stacked, so we know where our Dark World access is. And
yeah, that was a really early Dark World access for these runners.
So yeah, this is looking to be a fun seed. This is a wide open one right now. Of course, it'll still be a few minutes before all the runners get all the pieces necessary for Dark World.
Well, Zelka already has the parts for Dark World just yet. And for P-Train, he will be picking those up pretty soon once he gets over to the race game.
Yeah, Matt also going into Ice Rod Cave here. Just a piece of heart there, and he's going to decide not to do those flipper checks just yet. Maybe gonna hold off on that till he has Zora money. And I got a feeling, with how wide open this seed is already, it could be a while before some of these runners find those flippers, especially with no flute or no book, no real reason to go to desert. That could be a really big advantage for Matt now.
Matt making their speaking of Matt's in the back of Escape right now.
And there's another bottle there, and he does have that key, but decides not to go through the dark room. We did see the map and the key, so we know there is definitely an item in the Dark Cross. P-Train going to be starting off at the front of Escape, so we'll probably see what's in there. And Matt now heading over to Kakariko.
$5 rupees off of the uncle over on P-Train's side. Extra 20 rupees for that little bit too. Zelka actually taking a alternative route over to the Dark World from the Kakariko side.
So we're going to get our first look at the Dark World here. And we do see pendants at Thieves Town and Swamp, and we have vanilla red crystals at Ice and Mire.
What do you know?
So it looks like Zelga going to be skipping the front of Skullwoods for now and heading straight into the Village of Outcasts. Meanwhile, P-Train making his way into front of Escape. There's our single arrow in the map chest of Hyrule Castle. And Koi, with that lamp in hand, is going to check out Dark Cross. Zelga missing a bomb there. Not too much in the village so far.
No, not at all. P-Train's still making their way over to the Escape.
And Dark Cross with another bottle, so that's 3 bottles we found already. And there's half magic in the C-shaped house. So this seed's given us a lot of nice items so far.
And the half magic is very, very helpful, especially when they get that fire on. It will be a maximum of 16 shots compared to the regular magic's 8.
Yeah. And P-Train can take a Death Warp and go up and do Dark Cross as well. So front of Escape not really holding much. We are getting Zelga heading into Thieves Town.
P-Train taking a Death Warp.
So, I believe that's been 2 items so far. Both junk, so, yeah, we'll see if Zelga is just going to save and quit, actually. Interesting. Not going to do the rest of South Dark World. Normally I'd expect players there to take a Death Warp and then go down, do Digging Game, Stumpy, and make their way over to Hype Cave. But Zelga's got other ideas.
Such as the back of Escape play that he skipped out previously.
Yeah, I guess it makes sense to do a little more of your light roll checks before you go too deep in the Dark World. Looks like P-Train, though, going to be heading to Hype Cave here.
The good news for Matt, he sees that Moon Pearl. He will have the advantage of the Titan's Mitts in hand.
Yeah, he'll be able to use the easier access to the portal. Won't have to walk all the way through the dark woods.
Not to mention he has the
Woods,
entirety of, and not to mention he has the entirety of Death Mountain available to him, even the Dark World.
Yeah, that's true. And Hype Cave having the bow. Wow.
Oh, saved by the bell in terms of hype.
So I would be expecting P-Train to go straight for Pod here. But he's got other ideas. Maybe doesn't want to do Pod without a sword. Koi is getting started on those South Shore checks now. P-Train down to 1 heart, gotta be a little careful here. Oh, gets a fairy out of the bush.
Oh, nice save there.
Stumpy just 10 arrows. And Zalgadisson now making their way up the mountain instead of going any further in the Dark World. Unfortunately, will not have those Titan's Mitts. So only going to be able to do the Light World portions.
Yeah, that's what I've been mentioning too. Matt has that advantage in terms of the glove situation.
Yeah, Koi will as well here in a moment. P-Train doing the dig game. And finding the boots, wow.
Yes!
This is a dream seed. It's just giving us everything.
Oh my, giving up the boomerang, but aside from that though, boots over on the digging game is big for P-Train.
Yeah, Zalga is not going to be happy he skipped out on that. P-Train looks like he actually wants to go and do Eastern first.
I don't
makes
see anything
sense.
wrong with
Also, yeah, you also got Sahasrara.
I believe there's a fire rod on top of Spec Rock?
Oh, I missed that. Meanwhile, Matt going to be showing us Pod here. I missed that hint, but it said West Wing of Swamp.
It looked like the left side swamp kind of was dead outside of the big key.
Okay, thanks, chat. Map and Big Key on West Side Swamp. So that's one of those hints that's kind of useful, but you don't know if the Big Key is important or not. So it doesn't fully tell you whether left side is dead or not.
By the way, Sahasrara had nothing for P-Train as he makes his way over to the eastern area. Again, this makes a lot of sense for him. I really like this play. You'll get him a crystal.
First chest of Pod, small key. So we're not bow locked. Zalga going to be getting those Titan's Mitts now. And the 2 swords.
Having 2 swords out of the gate is really, really kind for this seed, so... Now that was a big key over on the second chest. Technically speaking, that is a bowlock.
I don't think so. I think it's only bowlocked if the big key is in the first chest.
Okay. By the way, speaking of Pod being and whether or not being bowlocked, we did find a shovel.
And Matt,
oh boy.
Yeah, Matt getting a hint that there is a sword in Gan's tower. So only 1 sword left outside Ganon's tower. A unique item can be dug up That was probably the boots at the dig game. So,
You can also determine if it's somehow the shovel also has a dig spot, but has something that's also a unique item. But it most likely leads to that boots.
yeah.
Suggo's gonna pick up that bow over in Hype Cave, while Koi actually doing the rest of his Death Mountain checks.
Yeah, so we'll see what turns up over here. Now, it's only 15 minutes into the seed, but I think we've got so many items that we can start thinking about what we need for go mode. We're going to need the flute, we're going to need both rods and the cane, and we're going to need medallions from Iron Turtle Rock. And I think that's about all we're looking for.
Yeah, surprisingly quick, as well as that flute, of course.
And, well, there's a book in Pod.
Alright.
And we're going to get a look at Paradox Cave here from Koi. And there's that red cane.
Speaking of.
So it looks like Zalgadisson now also heading into Pod. P-Train heading into the Armos fight here. No sword, so I'm going to have to use the hook shot to clear out those popos. And
So there's like
Koi...
quite a lot of rubies up for. Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, Koi with no mirror is going to visit Tower of Hera before doing anything in the Dark World.
I was going to mention that there was only like a couple of rupees over on top of the floating islands, and P-Train gets the quick kill on the Armos nice, and he's already got his first crystal 17 minutes 14 seconds. I want to say.
And Koi getting a hint that the purple chest just contains a piece of heart, so not going to be bothering with that.
Good hint for Koi.
P-Train now saving and quitting from Eastern. I thought he might run down straight to Pod, but looks like he might be doing something different. Oh, he's looks like he wants to do his South Shore checks first.
And again, it makes sense for P-Train to do this. He got his bow pretty early, and he wanted to take that bow straight into Eastern. He hasn't decided to never went over to his South Shore checks, so he's going to do that next. And Silveros requires the hammer.
Well, not the most specific hint, but often that can mean Swamp Palace.
It can also be hammer picks.
Yep. So with Swamp being a pendant, I don't think anyone's going to go in there just to look for the silvers.
It's Koi entering the Moldorm fight.
Yeah, it is a green pendant, so this may not be required, but you never know, it could be.
Yeah.
Koi, I think, just wanting to be thorough. Oh, get knocked off.
Ooh. Meanwhile, Matt takes on the Helmus Arcane fight.
P-Train collecting his goodies, so all our players now have their Titan's Mitts and Master Sword. We got Matt taking on Helmasaur. Gonna go ahead and just use Master Sword slashes. I believe a Master Sword takes 8 slashes to kill Helmasaur. Same as the number of arrows. So it's not that bad. Oh no, Koi taking a death to Moldorm, but he's got a fairy, so he's alright.
That's good for Koi, and I completely missed this, but Matt did pick up a fire rod inside Pod.
I missed that as well.
So that ice rod was definitely on Spec Rock, as one of our chat points out, as Koi taking revenge on Muldor and grabbing that green pendant.
And we got P-Train doing some water walking here.
I don't see anything wrong with him doing his water checks.
Yeah, of course, he's still missing those flippers that he need. Actually, you know what? Those flippers may not be required. Swamp is a pendant, and we can fake flipper into ice. So the only question is if there's anything required in Swamp.
Outside of maybe the silver arrows, if that's even there.
So, yeah, so with that fire rod in pod, and knowing now that the ice rod must be on Spectacle Rock, we're going to need the mirror for that ice rod. And we're going to need whatever medallions are required from Iron Tur Rock, and we're going to need the flute. So, yeah, 21 minutes in, we only have a few items we're still looking for. This has been quite an interesting seed.
Yeah, right. This is cool. It has all the makings of a jet seed, but we'll see if it actually becomes a jet seed as Koi makes their way over into Dark Death Mountain, doing his Super Bunny Cave checks.
Yeah, you never want to call out a jet seed too early. You never know what this randomizer can throw at you.
Yeah, Random's gonna random.
Checking King's Tomb. And Koi
10
checking
arrows.
Super Bunny Cave here. Not much there.
That brings our next dense location being over on Hookshot Cave here in Dark Death Mountain.
And Bonk Rock's not having much either. Koi can tell us what is that Turtle Rock medallion, and it is Vanilla Quake.
All right. Soga on the Helm's Arcane fight, Matt making their way over through Eastern Palace, Koi entering Hookshot Cave.
And there's that last sword. So we know roughly where all the swords are. And there's our bug net.
So Koi being rewarded that tempered sword is, I mean, it's not bad, all things considered, but there still was missing progression as P-Train makes their way over to Skullwoods.
Yeah, and I don't think P-Train has been to Pod yet, so unfortunately going to be missing that fire rod.
Yeah, this will be a double dip for him, unfortunately, as Matt continues his trek through Eastern Palace.
Yeah. So, Koi now finally making their way into the Dark World, gonna get that bow out of Hype Cave. If they're lucky, they'll go to the west and get those boots out of Dig Game, but I think the more sensible play really is to go for Pod.
Yeah, it's more dense than Skull Woods. There's that bow for Koi as P-Train takes a Wallmaster out of Skull Woods. Oh, and then back into the next location.
Yeah. So as I thought, Koi is going to go straight over to Pod. Gonna take a pit stop though to look at that pyramid ledge first. So that's something we haven't seen yet.
Yeah, this doesn't make that. This doesn't. I wouldn't say it doesn't make any sense, but it's a general location that's nearby Pod, and I generally most pit runners would leaf out Pod. Well, Most people will go through pod and then maybe go over to the pyramid and catfish area.
Yeah, it's kind of common to check a pyramid first before pods. Just get it out of the way. It's not much. And Koi actually going to go up to catfish, not going for pod. This is a bit surprising to me, but makes some sense, I guess.
Yeah. As I mentioned, really, with pod being pretty close by to the Pyramid Ferry and then the Pyramid Ledge and Pyramid Ferry, also pretty close by. In turn, the Pyramid Ledge is pretty close by to Catfish, so.
Yeah, it's still a pretty lengthy hike for one item. But it could pay off.
It's one of the more out-of-the-way checks, too, so.
Oh, just a blue rupee. Matt can check that shovel spot. Don't think anyone checked this yet.
No, because he's the only one who has the shovel.
And
it is a 10
just
bomb
10
pack.
bombs, yeah.
So the hint only refers to the boots over in the digging game.
Alright, looks like we're going to see Koi now turn in that green pendant. Be interesting to see if that results in anything.
Now Zelka actually getting the information about the guaranteed boots hint being over. Well, for us, we know it's over in the digging game, but for him, it could just be either the two shovel locations.
And Koi actually going to check the back here first.
It makes sense. He still hasn't done it.
And just a green rupee off the cowboy there. So yeah, that Tower of Hairplay not really turning up anything unless, of course, that pedestal comes into play. And we got P-Train actually going to go into the back of Thieves Town. It's kind of surprising to me he's chosen to do this over going into Pod, which is a full clearable crystal.
He might be trying to gamble on maybe something of progression here.
Yeah, well, sure, it's a gamble. I don't see why you wouldn't do Pod first, so maybe it'll be something I'll ask him. P-Train takes a death there, but does have a fairy. A pretty useless hint there in Thieves Town.
That piece of heart, for some people might think it's, oh, that's actually where one of our 22 locations. No, it's not. It refers to, if it's a hint that says a piece of heart in Ganon's Tower, or like X in Ganon's Tower, it refers to any of the 27 locations that have what we need. Or have that particular location.
Yeah, there's 22 chests that can have the big key, but there's 27 chests in total.
Because you have to take into consideration that there's also the 4 chests on top. There's the 4 chests in the climb for Ganon's Tower, and there's also, I believe it also counts the big chest. I might be mistaken, though.
Yeah. Alright, so Zelgadisson now finished with Eastern and Pod. Let's see where he goes. Looks like he's heading over to check that shovel as well. So looks like to be similar routing as Matt. And looks like Thieves Town really not paying off for P-Train. I don't know if he's got all the items in there. Looks like he is going for that big chest, yeah.
He's got the key because Blind will never have a key, a small key, when it drops.
And yeah, that last item just a 20 rupees, so Thieves Town pretty well empty. P-Train decides, you know what, I'm going to get that pendant anyway, just in case. And, I mean, he doesn't have the mirror to get out anyway, so might as well. Doesn't take very long to kill Blind.
Yeah, Blind is probably one of the more easier ones if you know how to do the script.
And Matt, meanwhile, just gonna death warp out of Thieves Town, not gonna bother with the back. And Matt giving us a look now at hammer pegs.
Now this could pay it out with the silver arrows, or it could also lead to, if it's not here, then it's most likely in Swamp Palace. Might also be in Ganon's Tower for all I.
Yeah, there's a lot of random weird locations that hint can refer to.
But no, it only gives a piece of heart, so it's more. If we're targeting item density, it's most likely going to be in Pod, or not Pod, Swamp Palace.
Yeah, I would agree. So P-Train looks now to be headed towards the mountain.
And Zoga gets rewarded with his boots by playing the digging game.
And it looks like Matt's going to be carting that little dude around to give him an item. Don't think anyone checked that yet, so... So, let's see, what do we have left? There's Ice Palace. That's full clearable, so... I think Matt would be more likely to go there since he has the flippers. The other runners could go to Ice, but when you don't have the flippers, it means Ice is out of logic, and it makes it not quite as tempting.
Yeah, I see Matt going to Ice Palace after his blacksmith checks.
Yeah, there's also Skull Woods, of course. I don't remember if we got both items out of the front or not. But in terms of density, going up to the mountain makes a lot of sense, too.
Yeah, with the Can Samaria there, as well as, like, aside from pretty much the Can Samaria, as well as once they get that mirror, they're going to have to climb up the mountain again, just so they can get that ice rod.
P-Train giving us some hover action over that Spectacle Rock Pit. So yeah, this seed's starting to dry out a little bit. We got a lot of, just a whole pile of unique items to begin with, but I guess we're kind of entering that stage where the runners are mostly just retracing each other's steps at this point.
Yeah. So around this time, I should really say that you should probably get these runners to follow. They're providing up these really nice race for you.
Yeah. Zogadison checking the Ether tablet. That's just a big 20, and he's going to head into Tower of Hera. Looks like Matt now is going to take care of Skull Woods. So we'll see. Like I said, I don't remember if we got both items in here. So we'll see if there's anything interesting in the back. So again, we're still looking for the flute, the mirror, in order to get the ice rod, and the Quake medallion, and possibly another medallion from Meyer.
Yeah, by the time when we get those items, maybe when we get the Quake first, then maybe the flute and then maybe the mirror and ice rod afterwards. That would put Matt in a Schrodinger's Gummo situation.
Yeah, that could definitely happen.
And Zo can get the information that There's some silver arrows out there behind some hammers.
Another option that's certainly open is Desert Palace with that book. That might be an interesting option to try. And you can route in Agina with it as well, so you would pick up those flippers.
Yeah, this will go for any of other runners that hasn't gone that isn't Matt who went to Agina first. But since Matt has that book in hand, after he clears Skull Woods, I wouldn't be surprised if he does a pet check, just so we can eliminate possibilities, or if we have to go out and do some dungeon clearing in the form of pendant dungeon clearing.
Yeah, the problem with that is he doesn't have the mirror, so he's not going to be able to get to the pedestal easily. But he is taking on Mothula here with half magic fire rod. It's not too difficult of a fight, unless Mothula hugs those top spikes like he is doing for Matt right now. And Matt's going to gulp down that red potion. Makes sense.
Yeah. And that's
really not cooperative here.
Yeah. The situation here is that Mothula will not take any damage if it's on other some spikes, because it technically is a tier 4 damage, but kind of like pretty much gold sword, so it will not do any damage. However, in the randomizer, if you have a gold sword when you go into the Mothula fight, that is actually programmed back in, so it's a bug that will. It's a minor bug fix just for the swords alone. It will not affect the spikes though.
Yeah, so Matt gonna go back in, and we'll see what this last item is here.
I was just looking at Koi's side. That fireball was actually over in the turtle room that leads before you go into the dark room with the 2 chests below.
Ah. Ooh, it's the big key in Skullwoods. That's always annoying, because now you have to go retrace your steps and go back to the big chest.
Yeah, that's what Matt's gonna do. He's gonna take that Death Warp with Greenmail. With the Greenmail at hand, those Gibdos take 2 hearts damage. It's pretty quick for him to Death Warp out. I think someone points out in the chat that there was 300 rupees on the Moth, and looks like that. I believe that was the last item over in Skullwoods.
Okay, Matt must have not done the front yet, so he doesn't know where the last item is. Saga doing Hookshot Cave picks up that Tempered Sword, and with the Cane of Burna, I wouldn't be surprised if he runs over and does Spike Cave after this.
Yeah, he's got that burner at hand. It wouldn't be that wouldn't be too crazy to go and check the Spike Cave. It's quite a gamble, though, all things considered, because
I wouldn't really consider it a gamble. Seems more like a solid routing to get this one out of the way.
Yeah, if you're I'm more referring to if you're just putting Spike Cave, like going straight for Spike Cave, not like from Hookshot Cave and something.
Oh yeah, going for Spike Cave just on its own is usually not something you want to do, and it's just bombs today.
Yeah, but for Zelga, that makes more sense to go from Hookshot over to Spike, just to lead the routing from that burnout just from there into.
Alright, so wonder how long it will be before one of our runners makes their way over to either Ice Palace or Desert Palace. You know, another area we haven't seen yet is the Zora's domain. With the flippers in, I think, where were the flippers again? Agina, right. So they've been available pretty early on. I wouldn't be surprised to see something in the Zora area.
But Matt instead is actually going to be taking that purple chest, since he did turn in the blacksmith previously. If I was Matt right now, I would definitely go into Ice Palace, because the item density is just one item's bigger than Desert Palace.
Well, with the way he's riding, he's going to turn in this purple chest. He'll be right next to Desert. Wouldn't be surprised if he goes in there first.
Now, unfortunately for Matt, he did not get the hint that referred to the purple chest having nothing.
Alright, so we will see here. Desert Ledge just going to be some bombs.
And taking that purple chest over to Desert Palace makes more sense too. He actually does make a maximization of his checks just from, in general, like those three. But in terms of Desert Palace in general, it's still 2. But if you take in consideration that he never got the hint that led to purple chest being, a piece of heart, for him that would be 3 checks for him.
Alright, so let's see. Is Desert Palace boots locked? Oh, there's our Quake medallion. So Desert Palace definitely worth the trip.
I like Matt's routing this.
Boots locked. Yeah.
So for Koi, he needs to head over into the digging game for him to know that it is boots locked. Well, and to at least get to the boots locked Desert Palace.
So at this point, we could potentially be looking only for the flute and the mirror.
Yeah, but it really depends on if Meyer has is also Quake.
Yeah.
Hence the Schrodinger's Go mode situation that Matt might be leading himself into.
Looks like the last item is going to be on Landmo. Looks like P-Train finally making their way over to Pod. Are going to turn in the green pendant first, and then I expect go into Pod after this.
Yeah, if P-Train, if by some chance he doesn't go there, that would be surprising for him. Would be leading him farther and farther away from those progression items.
Yeah, for those of you who may have tuned in late, we do know the ice rod is on top of Spectacle Rock, so we are going to need the mirror to get that.
Yeah. So as I'm doing the stuff, the items in my head, Pat can only have a flute or another medallion if in the situation that one of the runners decides to do a pet check. Unfortunately for any of these runners, they don't have the mirror, so they can't just flute from Skull Woods and just check the ped. They have to do a out of the way check.
Yeah. And Matt gets Limo down pretty quickly. And there's another medallion, so 2 medallions inside of Desert Palace.
Wow. So that further increases Matt's chances of a medallion being either Quake or Ether.
So I imagine Matt is going to want to go to Ice Palace next. That's my guess here.
At this point, he's clearing dungeons because he pretty much has the seed figured. Pretty much almost has the seed figured out. He's looking for that mirror and he's looking for that mirror and that float.
Well, Matt Does Matt have the King of Samaria, or has he not been up to Death Mountain yet?
I don't believe he's been up to Death Mountain.
Yeah, we'll take a look at his menu just to make sure.
P-Train trying to do a
Okay.
hover over to the one chest to the right of them. Doesn't make it though.
Chat confirming for us that Matt, in fact, has not found the King of Samaria, so he's still looking for that. He's going to check the hobo.
I believe what Matt's trying to do here is he wants to leave out Death Mountain until he goes up into Turtle Rock and sees that it requires Quake.
Well, if he finds the mirror, he'll be able to do all of Death Mountain in one trip. Alright, so we are now getting that Ice Palace play from Matt. A unique item in Palace of Darkness? Well, I think there was 3 of them, if I remember.
Was that one of them being that fire rod?
Yeah. McCoy, unfortunately, also going to the back of Thieves' Town. He's going to have 2 pendants after this.
Now, for the scenario that I'm thinking here is that when Koi finds the mirror somewhere, he might want to do a. I don't know if he wants to do a blind ped pull. Once he gets Swamp Palace out of the way and clears that.
Well, he hasn't got Skull Woods done yet, so I imagine he would route in the ped check with that before going into Swamp Palace.
Yeah, that would make more sense too if once he finds that mirror.
Armor and some bombs require a big red bomb, so Pyramid Fairy not going to be required today.
Good hit for Matt.
Alright, P-Train now with that fire rod. He'll get the book in a moment. And Koi, unfortunately, has sunk time into 2 pendants that have not been useful at all so far.
Yeah. Zogo, meanwhile, on the Lamola's fight while Matt makes their way past the pipe bomb jump and into the room that pretty much is the most important, I would say. Just this room after the Pen Gator assault.
And our third hint in Ice Palace, a unique item in Gan's Tower.
That's like 3 items that have, that's like 3 hints that relate to Ganon's Tower. Again, with the situation is that while unique item in Ganon's Tower being pretty much full-on useless, because how that works is that the Ganon's Tower, it will fill up any unique items that has not been seen yet into Ganon's Tower as just junk. Nothing else.
Zoga making that Agena cave check, gonna get the flippers.
But someone's chat points out it's possible that the silver arrows could also be on the left side of Ganon's Tower, which does count as a unique item. Or that is a single arrow.
Looks like Zelga also going to be making that Ice Palace play. And Matt not opening that last chest, so that leads me to believe he's found all the items in Ice Palace, and they've all been junk. But he'll at least be able to get that important crystal.
Yeah, that's the good news for him. So, my belief is that since one thing that Matt has not gone to just yet is Zora, he might consider although to be fair, he doesn't have the mirror, so he can't just straight up mirror from Mice Palace to do Zora.
Yeah. Well, we got Zora, and the other option that's now available with that Quake Medallion is we can dive into Turtle Rock. So we could have a mirror in Turtle Rock forcing a double dip, and that's starting to look more likely.
Yeah, that is as the checks run down, there's pretty much that's all we can really think of.
Yeah.
You know, the Graveyard Ledge is dead for the reasons that we don't have the mirror, and we're getting pretty close to the game anyway.
Yeah, I think I would probably want to check the Zora area before diving Turtle Rock, but we'll see what these runners decide.
Although it's possible that the flu could also be on Graveyard Ledge. That would pretty much contradict what I said that about Graveyard Ledge being dead. That would be pretty mean, though.
Yeah, that'd be an awful spot. It looks like Matt now is going to do those Zora checks. And I missed the first item there. The second item was just a heart container. And it looks like P-Train might be heading up to do that ped check here, so get your hypes in chat.
Yeah, I don't see anything wrong with this pet check. It could possibly lead to, I mean, how I see a pet check is me eliminating possibilities, either that or it's just something required, which is pretty. I mean,
you can turn anti-fairies into fairies. That is the magic powder.
Okay, so that eliminates the ped.
Wow.
Not on the Zora check.
That doesn't eliminate the ped necessarily.
Really?
Because we could still have, a mirror or flute or something on the magic bat.
Oh, that is true.
And we haven't found the mushroom yet, which would allow us to fake powder. So that might be some knowledge for P-Train. He'll know if he gets that mushroom, he'll know he wants to do that fake powder glitch.
Yeah, that's something I didn't really think about. Where are you now?
So ped can still be required if the mushroom is unavailable and something is on magic bat, but it seems unlikely, but it's possible. So it looks like Matt finally heading up the mountain. Zora area turning up nothing. So I think our answer at this point has to be Turtle Rock. I can't really think of anything left.
Yeah, for Matt, this is his first excursion up to the mountain, which makes sense. He puts off Death Mountain so that he could make his way over to Turtle Rock.
Yeah, so I'd expect him, again, without the mirror, I kind of expect him to just clear out all the Light World, maybe do Tower of Hera. Probably do Tower of Hera, and then dive into Turtle Rock after.
It wouldn't be too far-fetched to just go Hera first, then into Turtle Rock. There's that hint that so there's that little information that Matt has about the ice rod being on top of Spec Rock.
Yeah, so looks like Zelgadisson now is kind of in a similar spot to Matt, except He's already done a bunch of the mountain. So I think Zelga is actually going to be our first runner here into Turtle Rock.
Yeah, this is actually Zelka has the advantage here in this case. Matt put off Death Mountain just pretty late into the game once he's been clearing dungeons. Zelka's been behind him pretty much throughout this entire like second half here, or mid game, I would prefer to it.
Yeah, and unfortunately for Koi and P-Train, they both full cleared Thieves Town, full cleared Tower of Hera. So they spent a lot of time on checks that just didn't turn up anything. But again, that pedestal not completely dead yet.
Yeah, that's the thing. So here, Zelka is going to activate his Quake to open up Turtle Rock. Koi actually going into Desert Palace along with P-Train.
Unique item held by someone friendly. That could just be the hammer we got from the bottle vendor.
Yeah, it's hard to tell what unique item is by someone friendly. It's pretty vague.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna go off what you're saying, and that's saying that's that hammer over on the bottle vendor.
Alright, so first chest of Turtle Rock, just 50 rupees. And I expect as soon as Zalga finds the mirror, he's just going to mirror out and go grab that ice rod, and then come back. That is, if he can. If he goes past, if he gets to the big chest, he won't be able to mirror out.
It approaches the Turtle Rock area, not before getting Dead Rock though.
Looks like Matt, unfortunately, gonna go do Tower of Hera, so makes sense. It's just not gonna work. Well, actually, maybe he'll just do Ether. We'll see. Alright, coming up to the lava chest now.
So Madden Tower Hera isn't too far-fetched for him, because mainly in randomizers, it's a game of eliminating possibilities, process of eliminating. For Matt, he wants to eliminate the possibility of there's an item being maybe something in Tower Hera, so he's clearing this.
Yeah, well, I think he just doesn't want to dip Turtle Rock without that ice rod if he can avoid it.
Yeah, that's the problem.
Ooh, not quite getting that second pokey. Alright, there we go. Alright, and what's in the big chest? Just a map, so on to the crystal roller room now. As Koi takes down Lanmo and P-Train just starting the same fight, and Matt can be starting on Moldorm here. Alright, just a key there, so there's gotta be something on Laser Bridge. Oh no, Matt, or Zelga, Zelga all messed up with the Samaria strats, and he's got himself stuck.
Yeah,
Oh no!
I've had that happen before. So that
This is the danger of doing those Samaria strats here. I believe there is a way to get out if you kick the block in a certain way. But he doesn't even have the mirror. He can't mirror out. And he doesn't have enough bombs to death warp. I think, Zelga, I think you have to kick the block upwards. We may have to see a save and quit here. This is a huge time sink for Zelga. This is really unfortunate. And that is the risk of using those fancy Samaria strats there. You can soft block yourself. Like I said, I think there is a way to get out of that, but oof. And Zelga actually not going to go back.
Yeah, so Matt might want to might have a bit of an edge here. It really depends if he decides to go over that sort of Turtle Rock area.
Yeah, I mean Zelga seemed to have a clear advantage, but he may have just lost it with that. Because he's going to do all these Zora checks, they're not going to go anywhere before he gets back to Turtle Rock.
Yeah, so Matt was able to regain time here.
It looks like, okay, he's going to finish up those Light World checks. Zelga's going to be really disappointed when he finds out he's got to go back into Turtle Rock. Alright, so Matt now going up, going to go in the Turtle Rock portal. I would expect him he'll be checking Hookshot Cave and Super Bunny Cave first. But we'll still probably be making it into Turtle Rock before Zelga does. What's Zelga doing now? Oh, he's not done the front of Escape. Oh no. Yeah, Zelga's going to spend a bunch of time doing other checks. He really is just gambling that it's not on Laser Bridge, but it is going to be on Laser Bridge, unfortunately.
Yeah, that's going to be a problem for Zelga as Matt makes their way over into Turtle Rock.
Alright, so it does look like we have a pretty tight race between P-Train and Koi. They're both in Ice Palace now. P-Train a little bit farther in. But wow, Zelga Disson definitely had the advantage, and unfortunately because of that and not going back, is just going to be sinking a lot of time. May even go into into Thieves Town before going back to Turtle Rock. And Matt reads the hint out of Turtle Rock and then save and quits. So, alright, it might be a little while before we see anyone make it to Laser Bridge, actually.
Now, this could be an opportunity for Koi and Patron to catch up in this regard, as Matt gonna turn in that green pendant, gonna sink some time into that.
Yeah. So Matt finding nothing on the green pendant. This is an interesting race. This has gone back and forth. And neither player is going back to Turtle Rock, so yeah, you're right. P-Train and Koi definitely have a chance to catch up here. I'm not sure where Matt is going right now. Is he going to Catfish?
It looks like he is going to Catfish.
Wow. Okay, so he's going to check Pyramid Legend and Catfish. He really does not want to dip Turtle Rock.
Yeah, it's unfortunately the case where it might be our progression will have to be on that laser bridge. There's nowhere else to go.
Looks like Zaga can be doing the same thing as well.
So P-Train killing off Coldstare. He's gonna now do. Maybe he's gonna have to. I'm not sure where he's gonna be going now.
Oh,
maybe his Zora.
I bet he's doing the Zora checks. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so runners can be retracing each other's steps here for a little bit.
P-Train actually dropping the potion into the waterfall fairy, getting a blue potion out of it.
Yeah, so with Matt, the fact that he went into Turtle Rock, read the hint, and then decided not to dip in, that leads me to believe he's probably going to last location it. Because there's not really anything else that's going to bring him back there.
Yeah, that's the thing. He's sinking a lot of time into doing this last location over into Escape, then maybe leaving it to Turtle Rock instead.
Okay, Zelga making his way back to Turtle Rock. All right, this is good. But P-Train now hot on his heels.
Fortunately for P-Train, he still has to do everything else in Turtle Rock. Zoga just needs to get over to Laser Bridge.
Yeah, that's a good point. So, yeah, P-Train is going to spend a couple extra minutes doing some extra checks.
So Zelka was able to regain his control just from just doing this.
Wait, is he doing Spike Cave now? He's doing Hera Basement.
Oh.
Is there an item in Hera Basement? I thought we got both items here.
Interesting little discovery here. No, that's just a map, I believe. I don't know if he mistracked here. The only thing that's left in here would be technically a map.
Oh, chat's saying there was 20 rupees in the basement. Okay. So it looks like P-Train is going to be into Turtle Rock here. And Koi's starting off at the mountain as well.
Oh boy. So P-Train entering Turtle Rock. Zoka is, of course, taking more time to last location pretty much anything that he could think of.
Zelga really is just praying that it's not on Laser Bridge.
Unfortunately, how this has been going off, it is leading to believe that it's the only thing that's left here is progression over in Laser Bridge. That's the only possible location. We know that since Ped was red already, we know that this leads to a magic powder.
Yeah. So still could be something on that magic bat. We don't know. But we need to find the mirror first because we can't get the pedestal if we can't clean out the swamp. Alright, so all Forerunners now on the mountain. Looks like we are starting to converge now to this Turtle Rock play.
McCoy taking a brief detour to also go into the back the basement here. Zelga re-enters Turtle Rock. Unfortunately for him, since that payoff that played for him to go over the 20 rupees, get those 20 rupees out of the basement, did not pay off well. P-Train will have to take some time to go through the rest of Turtle Rock. Zelga, on the other hand, already got through the rest of Turtle Rock, so he's just got to make that mad dash to the Laser Bridge, and he's good to go.
Yeah, so you see Zelga able to just dash through everything. Still gonna take him a minute or two to get back to Laser Bridge. And P-Train gonna drink down that blue potion. Because he was on one heart, doesn't want to deal with the chain chomps like that.
Yeah, those chain chomps deal hit like a truck, and they are not kind at all. It's one of the trickiest locations there. The trickiest rooms of the game.
Alright, so Zelga now back to the Crystal Ruler Room. This time not going to flip the switch. Well, he is going to flip the switch, but he's not going to get stuck.
Right back where he left off.
Alright, we are now getting that Laser Bridge check. Just one heart container. Just two is the mushroom.
Oh boy.
Just three is a small key.
And there's a mirror.
And a mirror. Alright.
Yeah.
So Zelga now, I expect what he'll do here is he'll leave the mirror portal on this ledge. He'll go get the ice rod, and he'll be able to come down and go back into that mirror portal, saving himself from having to redo the entire dungeon.
Good call for
Actually,
Zelga.
no, never mind. You can't do that. Because he has to mirror to get the ice rod, so that'll destroy his mirror portal.
Oh,
so
right.
This is not going to work, actually.
So this is for him that would have been a triple dip because of the situation that he got stuck over in the Crystal Roller Room. If that's where it is.
Yeah. So kind of a rude seed here, really, forcing you to go to Laser Bridge, mirror out, go get the ice rod, and come back all the way through the dungeon.
On the bright side, though, he just needs a flute away, and Zelga would be in a Schrodinger's go mode situation.
Yeah, now the question is, where's that flute going to turn up? So we do have the mushroom. And we can do fake powder now. So the pedestal probably isn't required unless one of the players uses their mushroom and doesn't save scum it.
Yeah, that's the thing. With an item like the magic powder being on the pedestal, it leaves a possibility that either it's not required or it is required, depending on the situation.
So there's that mushroom for P-Train. And there's that mirror.
P-Train taking that mirror actually into Mimic Cave, now that it's available for him.
Oh, that's a smart decision, yeah.
The bad news is he still has to get that ice rod off of Spectacle Rock.
Yeah. And just her heart piece inside Mimic Cave. And P-Train remembering he's not going to be able to save that mirror portal. So, what started off as a possible jet seed, we got so much stuff so early on, has turned into just a rude seed.
Rando's gonna Rando. That's the moral of the story here.
Yeah.
Back in that mirror now, also gonna be doing the Mimic Cave check. Or yeah, there it is.
And P-Train taking a moment to think what he wants to do here. And starts at Link's house and changes his mind immediately. He should know where the ice rod is. Oh, he's got it already, that's right. Okay, I see. He's gonna save Turtle Rock for later. And look for the flute now. Or he's gonna fake powder. Meanwhile, Zelgadison taking on Trinax.
Actually, P-Train's decision to do the fake powder is not a bad idea in any stretch of the imagination.
Okay, now he's going back in the dark world. I'm not sure what. Maybe a check he missed or something. Oh, he wants to check Graveyard Ledge, I bet.
Oh.
But
yeah, like I said, it might possibly be with the flute. That would have not made the flute. That would have made Graveyard Ledge.
There's an item on Trinax. I'm surprised P-Train isn't going for that. Did he maybe miscount items in Turtle Rock?
I don't believe he would in this case. I just think he just wants to look for the flute and just that's it.
Well, he's doing a Smith chain, and we know there's nothing on that. We've seen all of it, but we haven't seen that magic bat yet. Zelga, meanwhile, gonna head for Swamp, it looks like, or... Okay, he's gonna turn in the mushroom first.
Yeah, I don't see anything wrong with him turning the mirror, or turning the mushroom, rather.
Alright, so we're gonna see that mushroom turn in, and we're gonna see the fake powder at roughly the same time here.
Yeah.
And just a heart container, and Zelga, no. Save Scummit.
He is not going to save Scummit. He wants to, he's just gonna...
Well, what's on the bat? If this is the flute on the bat, then Zelga has to pull the pedestal.
Oh boy, this is gonna be rough for, Paige. This is gonna be rough for him.
Okay, it's just a big 20. So the flute is pretty much gonna be in Swamp, or possibly Graveyard Ledge. Or actually, no, we got a few locations. We got Cave 45 to look at. We got Bombos Tablet. So there's a few spots it can still be, but most likely going to be in Swamp.
Okay, so with that, now that brings the ped pretty much dead at this point. So Zelga actually going to do Swamp Palace, which isn't a bad idea. Five items. I want
Yeah, it looks like P-Train is going to do some of these overworld checks first. Which I don't blame him for.
Yeah, I like this play from P-Train to go into K45 before he does like something crazy like going into Swamp Palace.
Alright, just a heart container at K45. And oh, P-Train gonna check the shovel. He hasn't done that yet.
So at this point in time, Swamp Palace is more likely than not the only big item dense location that is remaining.
Yeah.
If P-Train decides to go up in the Graveyard Ledge, which I believe we have not seen yet.
Well, he'll do Swamp first since he's right in the area.
Yeah, that makes more sense. Actually, he's going to be doing the Bombos tablet.
Yeah. Yeah, this makes sense. To do these quick overworld checks first before committing to Swamp.
Especially Pen and Swamp, too.
And it's not in the Bombos tablet, so we got Swamp Palace and Graveyard Ledge, and that's it. That's all that's left.
So for Zilga, it's possible here that the Silver Arrows could
There
also
it
be
is.
where he's.
There it is.
Lo and behold,
Right.
1 hour 22 minutes
Swamp
exactly.
in the compass chest.
Yeah. Yep, 1 hour 22 minutes, pretty much exactly. Zilga enters go mode.
P-Train's going to be only a couple minutes behind. Unfortunately, those overworld checks just not paying off.
Zilga decided to leave Swamp Palace too. Again, most likely that the hammer locked Silver Arrows could have been like probably in Swamp Palace for all we know. That or in left side Gan's Tower.
And chat making a good point here. Meyer could be Bombos, in which case we're not in go mode.
Yeah, as I've said, Schrodinger's go mode. This is a Schrodinger's go mode situation for Zelga. I'm gonna rewind and say at 1 hour 22 minutes exactly. Zelga is actually in Schrodinger's go mode.
All right, so gonna make that Meyer check. We got a 2/3 chance of being in go mode, basically.
Yeah, but the good news for Zelga is that there's only 2 locations for him to find.
And it is Bombos.
Oh dear. So Zelga has to find Bombos. That is unfortunate for Zelga. The game continues.
Well, is it gonna be here, as it often is in Meyer Shed? Yeah, it is, of course. All right, so just a quick pit stop and then go mode.
1 hour 23 minutes in like 47 seconds. Zelga's in go mode. Oh, why do I commentate these?
what a crazy seed. Alright, P-Train gonna grab that flute. Probably do the same thing as Auga. Go activate it, check Meyer. Alright. We're gonna get a what's called a God Meyer, where the big key is early, and we can just go straight to the boss, or we're gonna have to dig around a bit. Oh, just bombs in the first chest. Looks like Koi is going up to read the pedestal. Interesting.
Creature has his fluid activated while Matt is going into Swamp Palace.
Koi finds out the powder is there. So I'm gonna guess he might go fake powder now. How big he yet? P-Train finds out the bad news that it's Bombos, and he has to go on a really long, exhaustive search over to the mire shed.
Yeah, it's like 20 feet long going into that mire shed. Oh, look, there's Bombo. It's right there. Thanks, game. So Peach Train under skill mode. Oh, jeez. Alright, so Zelga now makes their way over into the dark room. They're almost at Vitreous. Koi, meanwhile, continuing his trek for the flute, doing the blacksmith chain. Peach Train entering the first half of Misery Mire. Matt, having the flute in hand, now has to activate it. Now Zelga enters that fight. The Vitreous fight. It's gonna be just shooting some arrows at it like it's Space Invaders or something, I don't know. Alright, so Zelga has all 7 crystals. By this time, we actually do a little game here. We don't use a bot for daily races, but it's a big key guessing game. Inside Ganon's Tower, there are 22 locations where the big key could be. One of them has that all-elusive big key. It could be in any of these locations. It could be over in the Hope Room. It could either be in the Dark Magician Room. It could be in the Random Room. If you're masochistic enough, it could be in the Tower Room. My guess will always be the same, and that is Random Room, with the exact location being 11, assuming that they go Hope Room first, then to the left. However, I will still take 11 at any point in time.
Well, I always guess number 1. Let's just get it over with.
Yeah, the way the season's been going, it's been quite a mess. You might as well just hope that it's in the first chest. Or the first location, rather. Yeah, first chest or first location. It really depends if you're going left side or right side.
Yeah, the last race I commentated, it was in the left side of Hope Room. And first, and he opened the right side and made it number 2 instead of number 1. So I was salty.
Poor idiom. By the way, Matt has entered go mode. He's in Misery Mire right now. Koi hovering
Yeah.
over to the Bombos tablet.
Yeah, so our players not too far apart, really. Just a few minutes separates all of them. All right, 1 hour 30 and 27 seconds. Zalgadissin is into Ganon's Tower.
Rather opening it up, so look at the actual time when as soon as he enters the tower. You try and making their way to the back of Misery Mire. So it's around 1:30:47. He's actually now fully into Ganon's Tower, going to the Hope Room first. This is my general routing here, going to the Hope Room first on the left, starting out with a piece of heart and 20 rupees.
I know small key, so no choice but to go left now.
I just go Hope Room first and left, regardless of if there's any keys or not. Third location is the key, so he's gonna bunk that. Gonna grab the pot key from here. Koi having to turn in the mushroom.
Yeah, Koi seems to be doing just about everything except going into the swamp. But I think he'll run out of options pretty soon here.
Big key number 3.
Yeah. Actually, number 4, if we count the big
Number 4, number 4,
torch.
yeah.
All right, let's see who guessed number 4. Looks like Chemical Grenade was the first chat member to guess number 4. So congrats, you win our undying admiration, and that's about it.
And our everlasting support,
Okay, yeah, that too.
which is fancy talk for recognition. Unfortunately, we're gonna have to see. We won't be able to see those silver arrows. It might have been, heck, it could have been could have been either here at Ganon's Tower or in the swamp palace area.
Yeah, I mean,
But
the rest of the chests in that room do count as requiring the hammer, so they could easily be right there.
right, so the 4 locations that the 4 chests up the tower after you finish the gauntlet, of course, will not have that. But we do know that there is a sword here too. But since we already know our 4 sword locations,
Yeah. When you're already on Tempered Sword, you don't really care that much about upgrading to gold.
yeah, it's
It only really saves you like a few seconds on the
Yeah.
Ganon fight, and that's about it.
although it really depends on if it lags or not. If it doesn't, if you're lucky enough to get any lag, usually in the Ganon fight it doesn't give you any lag though.
Okay. Oh, P-Train still has to go through Turtle Rock. Never did this.
Oh, that's all right. So he actually saved Turtle Rock for the very end. Maybe trying to save some time here, just waiting on Trinex until eventually he has to clear it fully. But since everyone else had already cleared Turtle Rock, this is going to be a time loss for P-Train, despite it being pretty convenient for him to go from Turtle Rock over to Ganon's Tower. There's no real rhyme or reason to do that for him specifically. So Koi picking up that flute. Now the last one of the runners to get go mode.
Well, not quite. Still has to do that little Bombos check and then collect the Bombos 2 seconds later.
Oh yeah, of course, yeah. Just Schrodinger's. Okay, Zelga's gonna be playing a bit of risky here. I say it's risky because it's possible for him to despawn the entirety of the room, just entire Ganon's Tower, if the jingle were to go off, if the door were open.
Yeah, if you do the first room fast enough, and you know you've done it fast enough, you're usually pretty safe. But if you mess up even a little bit, it's best to wait before going up those stairs until you hear the door closing. Alright, Zogadison takes out Molborn 2 as Matt enters GT.
At this point in the game, he doesn't really need to worry about getting that chest, so, because at this point, he just wants to clear it. He wants to defeat Dumb the Seed. He's gonna go up to Aga 2, clear it, go to Ganon, then just run over.
Alright, B-Train now taking care of Trinax as Koi is a final runner on a restream to enter go mode.
Good job carrying the beak there, Zoga.
Alright, Zoga on to Ganon. So it's going to be silverless, but still I don't expect Zoga to have any real issues with this fight.
Not at all, no. He's practiced this numerous times. He knows how to do silverless.
Ganon being pretty nice with teleports, not a whole lot of them. And we do see that the arrows are in Swamp Palace, so none of our runners are going to be getting those.
Yeah, that's what I figured. Swap Palace being the only possible that I can think of. It's item dense at that point in the game.
So Zoka missing the torch glitch. I don't know if he has a potion or not. Hopefully he does. Okay, he's got a blue potion. He's fine.
Okay, yeah, that's good. Now, having silverless without torch glitch is quite annoying because you have to light two at the same time. You'd rather just have you're hoping to get torch glitch in the so that way you don't have to minimize the possibility of having to light up two. But aside from that, though, Zelga actually finishes.
Yeah, get your GGs in chat for Zelga. Comes in first place on the restream with an official SRL time of 1 hour 39 minutes and 3 seconds. And overall in the race takes third place. Our second place finisher was Hitsoyan 1337 with a time of 1 hour 34 minutes and 42 seconds. And Salty Fry was our overall winner with 1 hour 28 minutes 31 seconds. So over 10 minutes separating first and third place. That's quite a big gap.
Yeah, my belief is that he might have been able to pick up the quite unkind nature and was able to probably find a way to route them all in without taking any unnecessary routes, like going to Harrow, going to Swamp House. No, your Swamp House was required, like going to Thieves Town or something like that.
Well, we do have to kind of call back to that big mistake that Zolga had in Turtle Rock, where he got stuck and saved and quit. If that hadn't have happened, we're joined by Zolga, by the way. GG's.
Hey, GG's. Thank you.
So, about that Turtle Rock triple dip.
Oh man,
was,
I learned a brand new strategy of how to run Turtle Rock, and let me tell you, it is a professional gamer strat. I would highly recommend to anybody who wants to learn this game.
But that was, I gotta say, that was really unfortunate. When you get stuck there. So after that, did you have any thoughts of going back?
Oh yeah, I almost went literally straight back. Just 'cause I knew there were 3 items on Laser Bridge still, and the 4th had to be on Trinix. But for at least a long time, I was feeling like I just kind of had to let that slide away and focus on some other stuff I hadn't done, like the castle, Zora area, things like that were still kind of dense. And eventually it got to where it was like, well, you can either go back up the mountain or you can do Thieves Town and the Smith Chain. So let's just go back to up the mountain. So yeah.
Well, I mean, you hate to think about what ifs, but I'm definitely curious what your time would have been like if that hadn't have happened. Because we see Salty Fry finishing a 128, and I think you would have been somewhat close to that.
Yeah, I don't think like that's almost like 10 and a half minutes or ahead of my time. I don't think I lost 10 and a half minutes, but I bet it was kind of close. I would easily believe like 7, 8. So I think Salty still would have had it. He's a great runner, but I certainly would have been competing.
We thought we thought Matt was going to take the lead after you because he went up to Turtle Rock and he had basically most of the same stuff you did, but then he just went in, read the hint, and left. So did a bunch more overworld checks.
You know, that hint was a little suspicious. Like I knew we got the hammer from the guy in Kakariko, the bottle merchant, but when you get that hint, the way that the hint system is based, I was like, well, that really makes Catfish and the green pendant turn in really important in my mind.
Yeah, definitely.
You got those 50% guaranteed hints for those locations. So, I mean, they turned out to be nothing, but it was at least worth the checks, I guess, after I had already failed Turtle Rock.
All right, I got to interrupt you for a second because Matt 7898 has just finished. Coming in second place on our featured restream, and overall in the race taking 6th place with an official SRL time of 1 hour 42 minutes and 53 seconds. So we'll read off our other finishers. We had Shire coming in 4th at 1:39.07, just 4 seconds after you did. Wow. So quite the snipe there. Cassidy Moen coming in 5th with 1:40 and 33. And we'll see if Matt is going to join us for an interview.
Yeah, I got really greedy during the Ganon fight, trying to get in 2 silverless hits before lighting a torch, and the totally expected result of that happened of having to miss torch glitch.
So, looks like unfortunately the bottom 2 players do not have usable audio, so we'll try to get that switched to the soundtrack. But meanwhile, we are joined by Matt 7898. GG's.
Thanks. GG's. Nice job, Zelga.
Hey, GG's, man.
So, Matt, you went in open Turtle Rock, and then you just read the hint and left. Did you have any thoughts of actually dipping in there at the time?
Yeah, I was 100% going to dip in there. And then I saw that hint, and I was like, I got 2 easy, someone friendlies to check. That ended up just costing me like 4 minutes. But if that hint wasn't there, I think this would have turned out a bit better. Because you know the ice rod's not in there, right? So, I don't know. I wasn't 100% sure what to do in that situation.
Yeah, it's definitely a tough call.
And
But,
with my terrible memory, I couldn't remember. I was pretty sure the mini Moldorm cave guy gave us a glove, maybe. I'm not sure
yeah,
if there
that
was
was
one.
true.
So
The other one that we were remembering was the hammer was on the bottle vendor.
right, yeah, that one too.
But yeah, I forgot about the glove on the Moldorm guy.
But yeah, I don't know. I was pretty happy with this, I guess. I did too much overworld. You can see, I see Salty One. He is like the ultimate dungeon diver, so I wasn't super surprised by that.
Yeah, well, I'm going to interrupt you for a second because P-Train has just taken down Ganon and just has to cross that finish line. And there he goes, and he is done with an official SRL time of 1 hour 46 minutes flat, and that's good for 8th place. 7th place was Durand with 1 hour 45 minutes and 13 seconds. And we'll see if P-Train's going to come in here to chat. And it looks like he's already on the way. Yeah, so as I was saying, I guess you obviously don't know what happened to Zelga in Turtle Rock because he was there quite a bit earlier and had a bit of an issue in the crystal roller room. Got stuck behind the switch, had the switch flipped the wrong way, and had to save and quit out of there.
Oh no, Zelga, you know how to get out of that?
So apparently not, because I've tried. I thought about my inventory. Like, I don't have a mirror. I've got 2 fairies and bottles. I don't have near enough bombs to kill myself. So everything I tried, I could not get out.
I think there's like a cane strat to get out of there. I know there's a way you can do it, but I forget what it is.
Yeah, I've seen it before. I think there's a way that you kick the Samaria block up and somehow are able to do it that way. I've never actually tried it.
Yeah, maybe there's a certain angle you can detonate that at where it's a little bit higher than the block and it would hit the switch. I hadn't thought of that actually.
Yeah,
But I tried kicking the block and I knew that it didn't go above the block, so I was just like, well, I guess I'm screwed.
But we are now joined by P-Train, GG's. P-Train?
GG.
Oh, there you go.
Sorry, I still have push to talk on from when I last did commentary.
All right, so yeah, how did you find that seed?
I doubled down on bad decisions until one of them finally paid off. Full clearing Thieves Town, full clearing Hera, checking the basement.
Yeah, you put off Pod for quite a long time. I was curious about that decision.
Honestly, I kind of forgot about it because when I got mitts, I was just like, oh, I'm not used to getting early bow, and that kind of threw me off. Because when I got the mitts, I was thinking like, oh, look at all the stuff we can do on the other side of the map, versus Pod, which my tracker is just like one green square.
Yeah,
so
I know.
So
that
I went
feeling.
for all the other colorful green squares on the left side of the Dark World.
You were at least you were the first player to get the boots by quite a while, because you got that bow and then you just went straight over. Most people went over to Pod, whereas you went straight over to the dig game, got those boots. So that helped you out a little bit, getting those early boots.
Yeah, Pod was probably the correct play there, if I'm being honest. I mean, I got boots, so yay, but Pod was probably tactically the better play.
Yeah. Yeah, what a rude seed. I mean, it gave you everything so early on. It was almost like a tease. It was like, hey, I'm going to be a jet seed. And then, oh wait, you have to double dip Turtle Rock.
Yeah, that was, Turtle Rock was kind of a Hail Mary at that point. I mean, I hadn't done the blacksmith, hammer pegs. I think I had a couple of other things. I thought the Zora area was worth checking before doing a Turtle Rock dive. But yeah, I skipped a lot of overworld stuff, just banking on Turtle Rock's got to pay out because I've already sunk time into Hera. I've sunk time into Thieves. I've done all this other stuff.
that was just a waste of time. So hopefully Turtle Rock pays off, and luckily it did.
Yeah. You were also by far the first one to check the pedestal. That was interesting.
Well,
Seeing
because
the
I
powder there.
had already cleared 2 pendants.
Yeah.
So it was trying to capitalize on that play, like maybe this will pay. Because when I killed Blind, I knew Blind didn't have an item, but I was like, maybe it's a ped seed.
Yeah.
Swamp being a pendant makes that assumption a little dubious, but I figured, I'd go ahead and kill him. And then Hera, I didn't have the mirror, so in my mind, I'm thinking Hera takes a long time to get back to. Let's go ahead and clear it, and it just didn't pay off.
Well, everyone ended up full clearing Hera, so that didn't really cost you much time.
Oh, well, that's good to know.
Well, everyone on Restream, at least. Yeah, so but that powder on the pedestal was funny, and then we got the mushroom. And Zelga, I think you actually turned in the mushroom and didn't save scum it. And that was before we knew what was on Magic Bat. So we were speculating, if that flute's on Magic Bat, that could be very bad for you.
Yeah, I've kind of just... That used to be like my big meme, because I won a really important race with fake powder, but the more I've done it lately, it just seemed like it never really mattered. So I've just completely stopped caring about trying to save the mushroom, honestly.
I wouldn't have done it if not for powder on the pedestal. That's the only reason I did it.
I did it. I had no idea there was powder on the pedestal.
I do got to interrupt you for a second. We're joined now by Koi, who has finished. Hey there, finished with an official SRL time of 1 hour 51 minutes 24 seconds, good for 11th place. So GG's, Koi.
Yeah, I really don't feel that bad about the seed because just the routing directions that I took ended up with last locationing twice.
Yeah.
Like, I think when I went into Turtle Rock, the only location in the game that I had not checked was Smith. And Mirror being on Laser Bridge, locking the Ice Rod. And then when I get out of there, I need the Flute for Go mode, and I have like all the Mirror locations to check, and I choose to Swamp last. So I pulled through the game before going in Swamp.
Yeah, and then that Bombos on Meyer, that was too fun.
That was really silly. I equipped Ether, really hoping it was Ether so I could do the bird toss on the restream. But it was just Bombos.
Yeah. But it was a fun seed. I love these seeds where it's just so wide open early on. Like you had mitts and hammer and flippers and hook shot and everything just so early. I just love these kind of seeds, especially watching them, just seeing 4 players all going in completely different directions. Of course, it all kind of converged on Turtle Rock, so I think all of you were kind of getting to Turtle Rock or just finishing Turtle Rock at about the same time. But yeah, it was definitely looking like it had the potential for a jet seed, and then no, not so much in the end. I want to thank you guys for appearing on the restream. I think Professor Render is having some internet issues. Are you still there, Professor?
Yeah, I'm trudging on. I don't have anything else to say.
Okay, you didn't have any other questions
I'm not
to
going to
ask?
ask a question.
Okay.
I'm not going to ask any questions, so yeah.
All right. So to any of the runners, any of you guys have any final thoughts you want to get out there?
No, just thanks a lot for the commentary. Shoutouts to Fear Agent for the restream, and thanks for whoever's doing the tracking.
Yeah, our trackers today were Raylan Tankier and D2 Kemps. So shoutouts to them. They did a great job today.
Did anyone come across silvers? I know they were hammerlocked, if I remember
They
right.
were no one collected them, but yeah, they were in Swamp.
Yeah, I opened up. I finished the Stalfos room because I knew they were behind the hammer.
Yeah, I did.
So I finished the Dark Magician room just in case, but I didn't find them.
My bet was it was on the big key behind the big chest.
Yeah, probably.
I feel like none of you guys are gonna know because you all beat me and probably have lower collections. But did anybody find a mail upgrade?
No.
What
When
did
you-
get
the
a
pyramid
big
fairy?
bomb. Yeah, Pyramid
Yeah.
Fairy had one.
Yeah, no one actually collected it, but we did get a hint for it.
Okay.
No idea where the other one is.
Radio Ledge, I want to say.
I was really wishing it was a Ped seed when I got out of TR because I felt like
Yeah.
if Flute's on Ped, I'm not actually behind like my full clear of
Me too.
the other two pendant dungeons, and then I get to go mode the worst pendant dungeon. But rip powder.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think that's going to do it for us. Again, thanks to the runners for volunteering to be on Restream. And thanks to my co-com, Professor Renderer. And I've been Etienne, so I'll throw it over to you, Professor, if you want to have any last words.
As far as this previously goes, yeah, I was got a rando, and for me, coming up next tomorrow, we have some miscellaneous randos for you, and on 2 p.m. And then we also have another. As far as I'm looking at the schedules, because they're standard.
Let me load it up. The
It
2
is a standard,
p.m.
yes, it is
tomorrow. The 9 p.m. tomorrow standard. The 2 p.m. tomorrow has not been decided yet. That's going to be decided by some of the
Mystery.
volunteers. Yeah. So keep your eyes on the schedule. I think there's a command for it. I think it's !daily. So keep your eyes on the schedule to find out what mode that's going to be.
Yeah, it'll be a lot of fun if you what we'll decide. It's quite a mystery. So yeah, there you go.
All right. Well, GG's to all the runners, and have a good night, everyone.
Thanks, guys.
Hey, GG's.
GG.
GG, everybody.
guys.